ball, RJ.
I'm here with 247 sports recruiting analyst Gabe Brooks. Gabe, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm good, bro. We were just talking about traffic. Traffic still like what does your speedometer say?
Well, right now it's bumped back up to almost 60, so you can't really complain about that. But
Okay.
for going from the north side of DFW where I live in Denton down to south side Cedar Hill where I'm going to see a spring game, there are several spots in that trip that you're going about 5 or 10 miles an hour for a while.
Ugh. Well, you know what? I'm gonna say count your blessings because tornado weather just came through here and we got a little flooding going on. So could be worse. Uh,
Yeah, for sure.
So I asked you to do this call with me because there were three players in particular that, OU fans would be interested to know about: Major Burns, Seth McGowan, and Jahari Rogers. And I wanted to start with Jahari Rogers because he's a legacy, and you would almost think that that dude would be a shoe in. But anything that we know about recruiting, to be sure, is nothing is a shoe in.
Yeah.
So, what can you tell me about his evaluation, and what do you see on tape?
Well, it's interesting because he's getting recruited. Most of the schools recruiting him or that have recruited him want him for a position that he doesn't really play that much for his high school team. Uh, he's a starting quarterback at Arlington High, big 6A school here in DFW. He's a true dual threat guy. And having said that, if you look at his stats, production isn't everything, but it's something. It means I put some stock into production, and he threw for almost 2,700 yards. He ran for more than 800. So as athletic as he is, his numbers suggest that, as a high school quarterback, he's a pretty established passer. Now, having said that, he's in the 6 foot, 168, 170 range. I think he was 6 feet, 168 at the opening Dallas, where he worked out with defensive backs because, as we know, most schools are wanting him to play corner. I think he has the frame for it. He's built like a above average, taller, longer corner. He's got a lean, sinewy build that he's not going to bulk up to, really be like safety size or anything, but he's got enough space on him to be that long, lean, athletic corner with enough bulk and strength to go up against bigger receivers. From a testing standpoint, you look at the 40, you see 4.65 on a laser. It's a pretty good time for a corner. Ultimately, you'll want faster, but that's the 40 time thing is a soapbox issue for me because I don't know if a lot of people have the perspective on verified times that some of us who get to do this on a daily basis do. I think a lot of people kind of think you're supposed to run a 4.5 or a 4.4 if you're a guy in a position like this. But the reality is that there are very few guys in high school who are going to be verified on an electronic timing system that fast. So if you combine the 4.65 with a 4.13, 4.14 shuttle, that's a very good shuttle time. And that suggests he has some pretty good lateral mobility, some quick twitch, some fluidity, which obviously is very critical for a cornerback. I think, again, he's not they've really been putting a lot of corner stuff on tape because he's asked to be the starting quarterback for a team that went 11-1 in 6A this past year. But he has the tools to become a very good cornerback as he develops at that position.
Very cool. The question that I had, having watched him play a position that, again, he does not play in high school and one that he's being recruited at, particularly at Oklahoma, what did he look like when he matched up with wide receivers? When you were talking about, the soapbox issue that you mentioned of the 40 time and looking at shuttle times and how quickly those guys can get in and out of breaks and how quickly they can recover, how did he look when we were talking about going on the longer routes on the route tree, the post goes, the goes?
He held his own. He doesn't have a ton of experience even in the elite camp circuit or select 7-on-7 and playing in corner. Now he's getting it. He's gotten some this off season. He wasn't out there dominating or anything, but he held his own. He has shown in those situations that he's somebody who is going to be able to potentially be very, very good at that position long term. I mentioned the 4.65 thing. Another thing you have to take into account on his athleticism is he is a verified 10.80 100-meter guy. And when you start getting sub-11 in the 100 meters as a high school junior, that's moving. So his top-end speed is encouraging from that standpoint. Now, again, like you mentioned, the going up against receivers and knowing the route tree and getting in and out of breaks and all that, that's something that's going to come with time just because he hasn't done it as much. But he has the natural athleticism and fluidity that suggests he will be able to do that pretty well as he continues to develop.
Very cool, very cool. Moving right along, a player that OU fans have been very interested in here as of late is running back Seth McGowan, a guy that doesn't really talk a whole lot, but when he speaks, people listen. And, watching him, the highlights, of course, you see a big, strong, physical guy that just wants to cut and go. Am I getting that wrong, or is that what you see too?
Yeah, like you said, when he plants and bursts, there is some noticeable explosion there off his plant. I think he's in the 5'11 and a half, 215 range is what he measured at the opening Houston. Now he did not, I don't know if he tested or if he scratched everything. I assume since there was no shuttle and no vert that he did not even test at all, which, once you've gotten almost 30 offers by that point, that, why risk it if you're not sure if you want to have, if you're going to put great testing numbers out there. But we do know, we don't have a verified 40 for him. We do know last year, I believe it was about a year ago at the opening Dallas, he was 4.28 in the shuttle, which is very encouraging for a back north of 200 pounds. And he had a 36-inch vertical, which suggests there's some explosion there. Like you said on tape, you notice the size. He's not like a hulking power back, but in that almost 6 foot 215 range, it's pretty much prototypical running back size. I mean, it's college ready size. He runs strong. He runs with impressive initial burst. I probably wouldn't classify him as a burner, but he certainly is not lacking speed, especially considering he's 215 pounds. Now, there may be some of the home run plays that he hits for Mesquite Poteet at the high school level, 5A here in Texas, that may not turn into home runs in college, but he's plenty fast. And, one thing that's really intriguing about him is that he's not going to juke you and string together a bunch of moves in the open field, but he has enough wiggle to make the first guy miss. And like you said, that one cut, he really has put together some impressive tape, and the production backs it up with consecutive 1,000-yard seasons as a sophomore and a junior, playing some pretty strong competition level.
Well, and just to get back to, you're talking about his breakaway speed versus not. The guy that I would comp him to locally at Oklahoma be Samaje Perine. Now, I know he's not that big. Nobody was coming out of Pflugerville, but not a guy that's going to break away from you, but certainly a guy that you don't necessarily want to meet in the hole.
Yeah, and the thing is that he does have the size and the range to in the open field, but he also has enough slipperiness that if he doesn't want to take somebody on, he doesn't have to. He gets a lot of yardage after contact where he's strong enough to run through arm tackles, but the reason they're arm tackles is because he can maneuver his body in a way to make it where the defense is not getting a clear, a squared up shot at him. That's one thing I really like about his game. So I think that there's a little bit of wasted motion in his gait that he can tighten up. And if he does, I think he will become that much faster in his top end. But because of his gait, he's a violent runner. and there's not a lot of contact. There's not a lot of glancing contact that's going to get him down.
Another guy I want to talk to you about was dude, and his recruiting is blowing up is Major Burns. Seemed like he's leaning one way or the other, and then LSU kind of comes on a little bit strong. But what do you see from him as far as, could this guy be your number one corner? Could he be the guy that you say, okay, you're going to follow around the best wide receivers in the Big 12, and we're going to ask you to do this by yourself?
See, that's a very good question. We have him projected to safety right now, although we are open to reclassifying him as a corner. That's something I think that is a very good trait of his, because he can provide you with personnel flex in the secondary, because I do think he can play corner. I know he can play safety, and he can definitely play a hybrid nickel kind of a position. I don't know if I'm ready to say it right now that he is a bona fide number one corner at the high major level, but he could have the potential to become that. When you see his listed size, it's like 6'1.5", 6'2", 176. You're like, that's a pretty tall, lean guy. But if you see him in person, he has very broad shoulders and he's fairly long. He has a really big frame. I mean, he's got a frame that he is going to easily get to 200 plus pounds if a school wants him to get that big. He's got a true safety frame. Now, we all know nowadays there's a lot of corners who are big like that, so he may get that big and still play corner. But one thing that to play that corner role that he'll have to tighten up is the fluidity, the lateral mobility. For example, a shuttle is 4.51, which is, you want for a guy that might want to play corner, you want to see that under 4.35, under 4.30. On the flip side of that, his 40 has been verified at 4.58, which for a guy who's pretty much 6'2", that's moving at that size. So, another thing is that he is a willing participant against the run. He will hit you. He's a good tackler. He plays with a lot of swagger. I mean, he's a South Louisiana defensive back, and they bring the demeanor to the field. And like you said, it's LSU's kind of come on here in recent weeks, and it's not always easy to get a kid from Baton Rouge away from LSU.
Wanted to throw a little bonus in here, but I feel like you're prepared for it because you were just down there. 2020 quarterback Haynes King. Man, I was going through the composite. I'm looking at dual threat guys that are uncommitted. I'm looking at pro style guys that are uncommitted. I'm looking for traits I know that Lincoln Riley has talked about and he has asked of his quarterbacks who have committed and played for him. And I got to say, looking at that guy, especially the way that you've written about him in your evaluation, I'm amazed he does not have an offer from OU with the 4.5 40, the 50 plus 400 meters, the 26-1 record, the 16-0 last year. Big, strong, sturdy kid. Looks like he can sling it.
Yeah, he is, kind of the total package of the modern profile you're looking for in a quarterback. Because he's got the frame, he's got the accuracy. He is, Longview High School is known in Texas for having speed. They're always very fast, both sides of the ball. He's the fastest player on Longview's roster. He is a verified 4.5 flat in the 40 with a 4.08 shuttle. He won the district championship in the discus. He runs the 400 meters. He runs the 4x400 relay. He plays basketball. He's got this profile of this multi-sport standout. In addition, to the 26-1 record as a starter, the almost 4,000 passing yards and almost 700 rushing yards against, as good a high school competition you're going to see in the country. I am like you. I'm a bit surprised that OU has not offered him. He's got some pretty good offers. He's Texas A&M, Tennessee, Auburn, Arkansas, Baylor, TCU, Duke. There's a lot of schools have offered him, but I'm with you. I'm a little surprised that OU hasn't offered him, given the athletic profile, and really how high profile of a recruit he has become in the past few months.
Man, dude, Gabe, all of this money, just straight money. This is really good. I really appreciate this, dude.
I appreciate it, man, for sure. Anything you need, just let me know.